there is a specific, suffocating weight that settles over us at the end of a long day. You know the feeling. You unlock your phone for a single, innocent purpose: to check the time. But before you can even process the numbers on the screen, a banner drops down. An email from work. A group chat blowing up with forwarded memes. A banking app pushing a suspicious activity alert that makes your heart skip a beat. You swipe down to lower the volume, but your thumb slips, accidentally toggling dark mode and blinding you for a split second. You miss the barista calling your name. You feel a familiar, low-grade hum of anxiety. This is the dissonance of modern digital life. For over a decade, we have been trained to accept this chaos as the inevitable tax of owning a smartphone. We have been sold a fantasy by an industry trapped in an exhausting arms race of addition. More cameras, more megapixels, more AI buzzwords, more toggles buried so deep in submenus, they might as well not exist. We were handed devices that demanded our constant attention, our constant configuration, and our constant vigilance, treating our eyes and our time as commodities to be mined. But what if the noise could stop? What if the technology in your pocket could step back, quiet the chaos, and simply conduct the symphony of your day? Welcome to the architecture of calm. Welcome to *1 UI 9. If 1 UI 8.5 was about laying the foundation, smoothing the rough edges, and proving that Samsung could prioritize stability over spectacle, then 1 UI 9.0 is about a profound, philosophical shift in how we relate to our devices. Based on the robust, deeply optimized core of Android 17, this is not a routine biannual update stuffed with gimmicky, disposable features. This is a masterclass in cognitive offloading, spatial design, and digital empathy. Samsung has stopped asking, "What new feature can we throw at the wall to win a marketing slide?" and started asking, "How can we make the things you already do feel completely frictionless?" Today, we are not just reading a changelog. We are going to take a deep, immersive, cinematic journey into the very soul of 1 UI 9.0. We are going to explore the hidden toggles, the redesigned menus, the security overhauls, and the subtle visual shifts that, when combined, create the most thoughtful, human-centric interface Samsung has ever built. Grab a coffee, settle in. Let's explore the symphony of the invisible. *Movement I, the threshold of awareness, the lock screen and now bar. Let's begin where your day begins, the lock screen. For years, this space has been treated as a digital billboard, screaming for your attention with badges, alerts, and promotional banners. 1 UI 9.0 reimagines it not as a demand, but as a threshold. At first glance, you might think nothing has changed. You still have your favorite wallpaper, your adaptive clock, your weather effects. But look closer. When you enter the wallpaper editing mode and tap into the Creative Studio, the interface has been meticulously decluttered. The Create Wallpaper button is no longer a muted gray box competing for your attention. It's now a vibrant, clear blue anchor at the bottom of the screen. The style options have been elegantly tucked behind a dedicated icon, reducing visual noise, but the real magic happens when you tap the clock. Samsung has added a 14th font to the roster. The previews are now larger, more legible, and feature subtle entry animations that play as you scroll through them. When you drag the clock to reposition it, the bottom settings card doesn't just sit there awkwardly, it vanishes completely, giving you an unobstructed cinematic view of your wallpaper, only to reappear when you tap the clock again. It's a tiny detail, but it's the kind of detail that separates a good OS from a great one. And then, there is the *Now bar. For the last few iterations, the Now bar has been a static, passive pill of information at the bottom of the screen. In 1 UI 9.0, it is alive. The media controls have been completely rebuilt. The song name and app icon are perfectly centered. The media output button is now a clean, minimalist icon. But it's the progress bar that steals the show. It features a larger, glowing cursor that tracks your audio with a completely new fluid animation. When you expand the media controls, the entire interface feels bouncier, more responsive, and deeply premium. A gentle reactive wave animation ripples along the bottom edge, shifting its color and intensity in perfect time with the music playing in your earbuds. It is without exaggeration the most beautiful-looking music player available on any mobile operating system today. It doesn't just display your music, it reflects its mood. It communicates with you without demanding your immediate undivided attention. The ergonomics of thought. The quick panel revolution. Now let's bring this down to the physical reality of your hands. Think about how many times a day you adjust your volume or screen brightness. 10 times? 20? On a massive 6.8-inch display, hitting a hair-thin, precise slider with one hand while carrying groceries, holding a coffee, or walking down the street is a recipe for daily, micro-frustrations. In One UI 9.0, Samsung has listened. The brightness and volume sliders in the quick panel are now noticeably, unapologetically thicker. Before you dismiss this as a trivial detail, consider the ergonomics. By increasing the touch target area, Samsung has made one-handed adjustments incredibly forgiving and practical. You no longer have to carefully aim your thumb. You can just swipe with confidence, but the refinement doesn't stop there. In previous versions, the dark mode and sound profile toggles were awkwardly locked inside or adjacent to these sliders, leading to accidental taps. In One UI 9.0, they are completely separated into their own standalone, resizable tiles. You can move them to the top row, shrink them, or hide them entirely. Furthermore, when you enter the edit page for the expandable area, you no longer have to drag a toggle from the top row down into the expanded section. You can now tap an Add Control menu directly within the expanded area. It saves you a step, it saves you a swipe, it saves your sanity. The media player inside this panel mirrors the lock screen's revamp, featuring a sleek, 3D container that gives the UI a sense of layered physical depth. It feels less like a list of digital toggles and more like a tactile premium dashboard. The canvas of memory, gallery, notes, and my files. Samsung has stopped treating its first-party apps as mere utilities and started treating them as professional, creative suites. Let's start with the gallery. When you open the search function, the background is brighter, and the containers feature that beautiful, subtle 3D glass effect. But the killer feature is a new toggle in the search settings, highlight keywords in results. If you search for Dubai, the app doesn't just filter the photos, it literally highlights the word Dubai on the screen, in the metadata, and in any scanned text within the image. It makes finding that one specific receipt, ticket stub, or whiteboard photo instantaneous. Inside the editor, the terminology has been elegantly corrected. Previous is now undo, and more is now all. And here is a detail that will make you smile. When you use the draw tool with the S Pen, the phone now plays a faint, incredibly realistic scratching sound, mimicking the friction of graphite on paper. It's an auditory illusion, but it makes digital sketching feel 10 times more organic and grounded. Then there is Samsung Notes. If you are a student, a researcher, or someone who loves to organize their thoughts, the new tape tool will change your life. Switching to handwriting mode, you will find a new icon that looks like a roll of tape. You can draw over any text to hide it. You can customize the pattern, the color, the thickness, and even tell the tape to straighten itself or match the exact width of the text block. Why does this matter? Because it turns Samsung Notes into an active recall engine. Write a flashcard question, tape over the answer, test yourself, and lift the tape with a gentle swipe. You can color-code your study system without any third-party apps or complex setups. It is brilliant in its simplicity. Finally, My Files has received a massive structural overhaul. The cluttered, circular categories at the top are gone, replaced by a clean, logical 2x3 grid. Downloads are no longer an afterthought, they are integrated into the main storage view. The internal storage bar is smaller and cleaner, with the usage percentage displayed in a massive, bold font. Dive into your downloads. The old, clunky breadcrumb navigation is replaced by a sleek drop-down menu to switch between file and folder views. Under Advanced Settings, there is a brand new toggle, Open PDFs and text files in app. This means My Files is no longer just a file manager, it is becoming a lightweight document reader, keeping you inside the Samsung ecosystem without forcing you to bounce to a third-party PDF viewer. The empathy of design, accessibility and smart shopping, perhaps the most profound, deeply human changes in One UI 9.0 are found in the accessibility settings. Samsung has stopped treating accessibility as a legal compliance checklist and started treating it as a core design pillar. Under Vision Enhancements, there is a new feature called Text Spotlight. It places a floating bubble on your screen. When you tap it, the bubble turns gray, and you can tap on any text on your screen to instantly magnify it. The text begins to auto-scroll like a teleprompter. You can adjust the font size, weight, color, scrolling speed and background contrast in real time. For users with low vision, or even just for reading long articles in bed without straining your eyes, this is life-changing. Under Interaction and Dexterity, Samsung has introduced mouse keys. You can now map your Bluetooth keyboard's numpad to control the on-screen cursor, adjusting the acceleration and speed, and using the 5 key as a left click. And for those who struggle with the swipe gestures required to dismiss alarms or answer calls, there is a new toggle, Replace swipe with single tap. The OS literally bends to accommodate the physical reality of its users. This is not inclusion as an afterthought. This is inclusion as architecture. And then there is Smart Shopping in the Samsung Internet Browser. This feature acts as a digital concierge. While browsing online stores, the browser can automatically detect available coupon codes based on the website, your cart, and your region. Instead of manually searching for codes or dealing with expired links, the browser notifies you of valid discounts and can even apply them at checkout with a single tap. Crucially, this contextual AI processing happens on-device. Your browsing history and cart data are not sent to a remote cloud server to be mined for ads. Samsung is that smart features do not have to come at the expense of your privacy. The expansion of space, DeX and the ecosystem. For those who use their Galaxy device as a primary workstation, Samsung DeX in One UI 9.0 is a revelation. Samsung has added a toggle to auto-hide the status bar and taskbar, giving you a truly immersive, full-screen desktop experience. But the real game-changer is the introduction of virtual desktops. By pulling up the recent app screen, you can now see live previews of multiple desktops at the top of the screen. You can create a work desktop, a personal desktop, and a gaming desktop. When you tap the menu on any floating app window, a new option allows you to instantly move that window to another desktop. The desktops overlay at the top of the screen, letting you drag and drop your workflow with the ease of a Windows or Mac power user. It is the final nail in the coffin for the idea that a phone cannot replace a laptop for heavy, multi-threaded productivity. And when you need to share a file with a friend who also has a Galaxy device, you no longer have to navigate the quick share menu. With Tap to Share, the spiritual successor to the legendary S-Beam, you simply tap the backs of the two phones together. The devices recognize each other instantly via NFC, and the file is shared. It is fast, it is intuitive, and it is incredibly satisfying to use. Based on Samsung's historical rollout patterns, we can expect the beta program for the S26 series to expand to the S25 and S24 series by late summer, with the stable release following shortly after, bringing this polished, mature, and deeply human interface to millions of devices. And with the promise of 7 years of updates, this isn't just a software version. It's a long-term commitment to your digital well-being. Thank you for taking the time to journey through this deep dive with me. If this perspective resonated with you, if you appreciate the focus on real-world usability over marketing hype, please hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. We will be here, tracking every beta update, testing the long-term battery impact, and living with this software so you don't have to guess what it's really like. Until next time, may your sliders be thick, your focus be sharp, your privacy be protected, and your digital life feel a little bit more like home. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.